Hi, how are you? My name is Sol. I'm a mortgage broker. Today I'm going to explain home loan or refinance process in 2021. Okay. Firstly, when you come to us, we interview you and get all the information from you and get all the documents from you. And if you take a while giving us, there's a time delay in the process. And once we receive all the information, then my team input them into the two systems we have. One is our system, the other is the one interface with the banks. So we input them and ask you to sign the privacy forms and other forms, compliance form, so we can lodge it on your behalf. Yeah, and if you do everything straight away and give us all the information, then we lodge it straight away. Okay. And then when it get to the banks, these days, there's property market is rising. There's too many home loan application. Banks are taking a few weeks for them to approve the applications. So when it get to the bank, there's a few processes. Each process we have to wait in the queue. First process is called pre-assessment, whereby the team at the bank check to make sure they got all the documents, they got all the information. They're not a credit officer, they're not like a police, like assessing your loan. They just check to make sure they got all the information, all the documents. That's it. And then they pass your file. They put your file on the queue to go to assessor, like a real police, checking everything. So you sit in that queue for about 3 weeks. Then you reach to the assessor, and then that assessor, they like a police, assess everything, all the document, and make sure according to their policy, you eligible for the amount of loan you apply. They check your credit, they check all the document figures, cross-check to make sure everything match, so they do that. And then but how I said it take like 3 weeks to get to them. But if you have when you buying property, if you already found the property, then that process could take less. We can push them, because you have to pay 10% deposit. Otherwise pre-approval take ages. Yeah. So then they check, right? After that, if you have 20% deposit, then no more checks. But if you have less than 20% deposit, there's an insurance department check the application again. So insurance is the bank insurance customer pay because they have less than 20%. So that insurance department check the whole application again, then put it back to the police assessor to issue the pre-approval. So then the assessor, the police issue the pre-approval. Then the bank or us order valuation. So the property get valued by third party valuer that the bank choose. So yeah, so the bank or us order the valuation, and the valuer go out there, value the property, and then it come back to the bank, and then it go back to the police, the assessor, check to make sure they satisfy the valuation. And then if they do, they issue the formal approval. So with that formal approval, you can happily, comfortably pay 10% deposit. So after you pay 10% deposit, then the bank prepares loan document, the offer document, for you to sign. So saying that, you know, they give you 500,000 loan, they put it on the legal document like a formal offer. So that one you have to formally sign it. So they prepare that document and then they send it to you, and then you sign. When you sign, you have to make sure you don't change anything, because the legal documents. Just sign where it says sign and complete the form. We also guide you because we don't want to make mistake the legal forms. And then after you complete it, we send it back to the bank, and the bank check everything and prepare for settlement. So when they're ready for settlement, they tell us, and then, you know, your client, your lawyer, and the seller lawyer, you know, they deal with each other to proceed to settlement. Settlement is when you get the house, okay? If it refinance, when you change to the other bank, when you get to the other bank. Then settlement, you know, when the lawyer happy and ready, the settlement happen, you get the house. Okay, that's the whole process. There's a lot of steps in between, and a good mortgage broker like me make sure it go through smoothly, you know. So once you give me all the document, doesn't mean you can go and look for the house, you know. Please wait for me to issue pre-approval before you look for the house, you know. I try my best, but bank can change policy, you can change your situation, anything could happen. So I don't look for the house until you get a pre-approval. And then, you know, these days bank take ages, especially if it's a pre-approval, or especially if you don't have 20% deposit. You can buy, but they take ages to approve you. So please bear with us, you know, we're trying our best. The bank is not under our control, but we try our best to smooth everything. Okay, so yeah, so if you were to try yourself, there's a long process, and you're not used to it. You only buy property, average person only buy like every 5 years, but we do this every week. So leave it to the professional, you know. You don't pay us a cent, bank pay us only if successful. Okay, and why me? I do your loan as if my own. I'm also CPA qualified, so I structure your loan properly, so you pay it off ASAP. Once you pay off enough, I help you buy another property, so you grow your wealth through property investment, because property is the safest asset. We don't save much. Living expenses are going up and up, you know. So but the property is the only place we can save our wealth, you know. We can leverage other people's money, the bank's money, to grow our asset. So yeah, please come to me. I look after you with everything, and I don't charge you a cent. Okay, have a nice day, you know. May you have a blessed day tomorrow and any day from now on. Okay, thank you very much. Bye.